Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And you know they are really groovy. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And we know they are really groovy.
And now on with the show. Good evening, everybody, and happy new week. This is the triumphant return of two guys and sometimes a girl talking about movies, and they are coming back strong. Your guys are coming back strong with one of the major heavy hitters of Hollywood. You know him, you love him. When you think about him, you think Scientology, you think jumping on Oprah's sofa, but you also think about fantastic blockbusters, action movies, fantastic acting, a legend in his own right, and of course, somebody who does his own stunts. And you know who I'm talking about, of course. It is Tom Cruise. So, to break down and discuss and rank their favorite Tom Cruise movies, we have your hosts, Manny Zamora and Rory Terrence Penland. Oh, jeez.
That's
That
my
was
Tom
a little
Cruise laugh.
scary. That was a little scary.
That's my Tom Cruise laugh.
Do it again when you're big. Do it again.
That's all kinds of frightening.
You can't unsee something
It
like
is.
that, Manny.
It
You
is.
can't unsee that.
No,
It is.
yeah. So do we have we're going to have a special surprise guest on the show. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Would you like me to play? We got a submission from a surprise guest, and
All right. Well, let's
I
see
can't
it.
wait. I'm eating popcorn.
two surprise guests, two celebrities in this one. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Well,
they both are avid watchers of your show.
I'm sure they are. Let's see them.
How were you able to maintain, just not get sick during the flight scenes?
It's really peak fitness, Howie. I'm always multitasking. So I got sick. I mean, a lot of those G's, I vomited, but I kept my mouth closed. I swallowed it. So the camera never notices, and it's pretty good protein.
Do you enjoy fame?
I enjoy pushing myself to the limit. I enjoy the breath control, doing interviews on podcasts while also maintaining peak fitness regimen. What's your problem with UV rays, Howard? How come you're always wearing glasses?
He wants to be on your show, and that's his submission for you to. He does do television shows and interviews. So
yeah, I see that. So, so Howie Mandel and Tom Cruise just having a chat while Cruise. Sometimes you do have to swallow your own vomit. It just
protein
just works that way. Protein,
extra protein.
So,
yeah.
I thought it was Dennis Tardon sitting down. That was Howie Mandel.
For a second, I was like, wait, is that Dennis?
I don't think they look alike at all, but I'm a huge fan of both of them. I love Howie Mandel. He's hilarious. But yeah, Howie, I watch him all the time. So to me, he's very Howie in that.
Yeah, so
are you guys going to allow them on the show?
I thought it was Dennis and a Tom Cruise impersonator who was really good.
Well, you're right about the Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise absolutely is not doing that. Manny, do you want to talk about who that actually was?
Well, that was I don't know who. Well, that was what's known as a deep fake.
Okay.
There's an actor who impersonates Tom Cruise on the TikTok.
On the TikTok, I love that.
On the TikTok.
We're old enough to.
And another social media, and he does a pretty good job. The voice could use a little work, but the technology is frightening. So
it's a little frightening.
It's a little frightening, yeah, and that's why everybody's on strike right now.
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head, and I have another one that I'm going to play for you guys right now that's a little closer up. so that you can see why everyone's on strike. And as Sean Penn recently said, he
I was
wants
hoping
to...
you were going to show the Ben Stiller video where he plays the stuntman that hangs out at Tom Cruise movies. That's like the best.
No.
Manny's laughing because he knows what video I'm talking about.
I have not seen that.
It's
But I do
really
want to
good.
show. I do want to show this because it's a little closer up. And so this was another submission that he gave to you, Manny.
If you're a pretty good climber, I want to see you climb this. Not easy to do, but with discipline and hard work. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's crazy!
He got the exuberance. He really got the Tom Cruise
that,
excitement. Yeah.
I'm sure that's going to be in the next Mission Impossible
The
movie.
exuberance.
Pretty sure.
Exuberance.
Pretty sure.
Sounds like a horror movie. The exuberance.
We'll do that on Big Monster, I'm sure. The exuberance, glub, 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 glub. It's like the Blob.
From the makers of The Stuff.
The exuberance.
I do encourage
just
everyone
bouncing off the walls and driving you nuts.
I do encourage everyone to go back and watch the Big Monster episode of This Stuff because it was controversial. It was shocking.
It was controversial?
Some of the jokes that we were saying were a little not for safe at work. I remember. I don't know. And MM said he's exuber something, all right. Exuber something. I love that. Exuber needs to be a word. Thank you, MM.
Yes.
As she's driving.
Oh. Okay, MM, you got to be careful.
That's right.
To the road.
She's driving an exuber.
Oh, I love that exuberance, like Uber, but it could be like ex Uber.
Is exuber a word? Because there's exuberance.
There should be MM just coined it. MM said it's a word. I'm riding with her.
That's the adjective for exuber.
I think that's
exuberance.
Okay. Have we driven this into the ground enough? Oh my goodness. Anyway.
What's your number one pick, Manny?
My number one pick. My number one pick is probably going to be a surprise to everybody, but it's The Mummy, which I think is one of the best movie. I'm sorry, I can't do that with a straight face. I just looked at your expression.
That's why I didn't do it. I was thinking about doing that too, but I couldn't do it with a straight face. There's no way.
So anyway, but seriously, folks, no, actually, my number one movie. that's your. Oh man, no, actually, my number one pick is Collateral, which is a movie he did with Jamie Foxx, where he plays just a ruthless. He plays against type in this one, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like this movie. Because usually Tom Cruise is the hero of the movie, but in this one he plays a villain. Really, he's a hitman who's essentially kidnapped Jamie Foxx, who's a taxi driver, and forces him to drive him around to all his various missions, and eventually, of course, involves Fox in his shenanigans. And it was directed by Michael Mann, who's one of the creators of Miami Vice.
Right.
And it was shot with sort of new video technology, so you can do these night shoots. And it's just a really exciting. It's a thriller. I mean, from the minute Cruise gets into Fox's cab, it's just just chock-a-block of action and thrills and excitement, because you really, and I like it because it's one of those unpredictable movies where you're really not quite sure where it's going to wind up, what it's leading up to, and it's just a really good movie, and it really shows Cruise, that he is in fact a really good actor.
It is, and yes, he does showcase his acting abilities a lot in that movie because he's playing against type, as you said, and for that reason, I put it high on my honorable mention list. But again, there's a lot of movies, a lot of good movies. Mm-hmm. So, didn't make my list, but it made my honorable mention list. It was number 2 on my honorable mention list.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the
Um,
things. Is when I was scrolling
I thought it
through
was more
the
Jamie Foxx's movie.
yeah, but Cruise is the one. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. But for me, Cruise is the one that I watch. Cruise is the one who is like the flashpoint of this movie. You know.
It's fun to watch him play a baddie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
fun to watch him play against type.
yeah. Exactly. Right. So, what was your number one movie?
Risky Business, baby. The movie that
Oh,
made him.
yeah, yeah.
Risky Business started, a trend back at that time. It kind of changed the college movie
Mhm.
scene.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a wonderful movie. It's a fun movie. Um, Cruz dances around in it in his underwear, which a lot of girls like. And that was back, when he was very young. It was one of his first big movies. He actually, the first role that really he got noticed in was in Taps when he played. Again, he was playing a villain in that kind of.
Mhm.
And Risky Business was the one that put him on the map.
Right.
Yeah, and for good reason. It really is a fun movie. If you've never seen Risky Business, you should really treat yourself and watch it because it's just a fun movie. Rebecca De Mornay is in it. I mean, she is just smoking hot in that.
Mhm.
And that was before the babysitter or whatever the hell that thing was that she did. It was she got all creeped out and creepy. And just a lot of fun from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And Cruz can do comedy. He really can.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking about that. It's unfortunate. He really hasn't done a lot of comedies recently. I think he's kind of been stuck in that action
And when he
hero
does, it's stellar.
role. Yeah, yeah. And there's another movie that we'll talk about later on. I think you know what the one I'm talking about.
I
But
think I do.
yeah, but even before that, he was doing he did a movie with Shelley Long called Losing It early in his career, and it was one of those sort of raunchy teen comedy, Porky's type movies.
With Shelley Long.
It's Shelley Long, yeah, yeah,
I've heard of it. I just haven't seen it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you,
I guess I'll
you
have
haven't
to
missed
treat
much.
myself.
You know, you haven't missed much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not a good
this group
movie.
of guys who wind up going to Tijuana, and they pick up Shelley Long, who's just she's recently divorced, and of course they try to make it with her or whatever. It's a bunch of horny teens. I mean, it's that kind of plot.
Okay.
And Cruz plays the sensitive one in the group. So
The sensible one.
so anyway, yeah, it's just very predictable and just really, it didn't really showcase him at his best.
And our gal, what was your favorite? What was your number one?
My number one, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I like A Few Good Men, which because the lawyer thing, and he has all that integrity and passion, and it
The
really
lawyer thing.
well, it
The lawyer
reminded
thing.
me his chutzpah and his like not giving upness was something that I related to, and
Not
the
giving
teamwork.
upness.
Yeah, the not giving upness, like his dog, and it's like remember when they're up all night and it's like everything is going wrong and nothing's getting. He's like, I love the valor of that character, and I loved the doggedness of that character.
Kevin
I think
Pollak was in it.
everybody did. Oh,
Kevin
and that,
Pollak
and
was
I
in
love
it.
that too.
His,
And there's
And Jack Nicholson.
That's
You
what I-
can't handle the truth.
yes.
Who's gonna handle that? You.
Well, there was, and that line, you can't handle the truth. There's some kind of, I forget it now, I'll look it up. There's some kind of trivia about how that line came about. And I'm not really sure, but there's let me go check that out, guys. But that was my favorite. And by the way, here, yes, of course, here's the poster. Look at
There
that.
it
Just
is.
look at that. I wanted to be in JAG, by the way, and that's another thing too. I was like, I was almost in JAG, and then I decided not to go through with it. It was going to be the huge thing with,
You were almost a jag.
I was almost a JAG. I was almost a
Judge
JAG.
Advocate General. They're
Yeah,
The military
military
lawyers.
lawyers. Yeah,
Yes.
military
And,
lawyers.
and investigators. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had the interview. I had it all. I was like a whole thing. My dad was so proud of me, and then I broke everyone's heart by pulling out.
I dropped out of
My
college to
dad still
become a
can't talk
comic,
about
so
it.
I
My
got you
dad
beat.
can't talk about it. My dad can't.
Oh, Renee, always
I'm
the,
Don't talk
always the
about the
heartbreaker.
jag.
I'm always the heartbreaker. I was like, because like there was this whole summer where my dad was like telling everyone his daughter was going to be in JAG, and then I didn't get denied. I went and I did something else. I did like a fellowship instead, which was more in line with what I wanted. It was like a big wah, wah. I was training for the boot camp, the officers, and I was going to go to the officers one and
You
like
got
I
a
think it
crew
was one of-
cut and everything.
I got I was like
The
Demi Moore. It
GI
was a Demi Moore thing. I was
Jane.
wearing the fatigues. I had the boots. No, I didn't really.
Give my wife's
name out your mouth.
I almost hesitate to say GI Jane because I don't want
A lot of
Yeah,
people
I
I was
confuse
very
Demi
GI
Moore
Jane
with
for like a
movie and that
summer.
one.
Yeah.
That's why
Like
I
a
jumped on it.
And the officer who interviewed me did look like Demi Moore with the. I'm serious, just like a bigger one, a more portly one. She had kind of the
Someday
same-
Chris Rock is gonna make a joke about it and get slapped.
All right. Anyways, moving on.
Yes.
moving on.
Number 2.
Number 2.
What is number 2 for you?
Well, by strange coincidence, my number 2 is A Few Good Men. And for a lot of the same reasons that Renee just said. It's Tom Cruise at his most exuberness. And yeah, I think everybody remembers.
I like his uberness.
His exuberness.
I mean, a lot of people in Hollywood talk about how he takes over a movie and becomes producer, director. I mean, even though there's producers and directors on the film, it's a Tom Cruise movie, so he's got whole control over it.
Yeah.
You got to do it Tom's way.
But I think what also makes it there's there's so many courtroom dramas, so many lawyer movies, and so on, but there's very few military courtroom dramas, and A Few Good Men is probably one of the best. I think it was originally a play.
The Presidio is the only other one I can think of.
Which one? The Presidio?
The Presidio with Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Yes.
Yeah.
San Francisco. Sorry.
But we can't forget. And that scene, the You Can't Handle the Truth scene. I mean, that's become so iconic and so quoted, and so it is one of the big pivotal scenes.
And Kevin Bacon too, right? I haven't seen it in a while, but
and Kevin Bacon. Yeah, he's the opposing counsel.
And Kiefer Sutherland.
Right? I don't think so. It's been a while since I've seen. I remember Demi Moore.
But I remember Demi Moore. I want to get a T-shirt that says that. But I remember Demi Moore.
Petition to have like the subtitle of this episode. But I remember Demi Moore because like I brought her up and then he brought her. Like it's not about Tom Cruise anymore. This is a Demi Moore like episode.
That's right.
Hi Demi, if you're watching.
I wish Siskel and Ebert had said that. But I remember Demi Moore.
I remember Demi Moore.
I don't remember anybody else. I remember Demi Moore.
I don't remember Kiefer Sutherland, but I remember Demi Moore. Hey.
No, I know. No, Kevin Bacon.
I'm sorry. I
remember Kevin Bacon.
I don't know why. I just am.
But I do remember Kevin Bacon was in it.
He's in everything.
Jonathan Duncan, Demi Moore.
Again, there's a game. He's in everything. He's connected to everything.
Yeah,
4 moves or less.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I'm sure we're.
Is it 6 degrees?
It's 6. Yeah,
I thought it was 4.
Kevin Bacon.
But okay.
No, maybe it's 4 by now.
I'm telling you,
but originally
man.
It was 6 degrees. Yeah. But anyway, Few Good Men, great movie, great quotable line. Everybody remembers that line.
It's good performance
even if
by
they don't
all.
remember the context of it. Interesting little murder mystery of why this young plebe was was murdered or killed, and who did it. And well, actually, I know who did it. They're on trial. And it's just kind of an indictment of the whole sort of military mentality,
Now,
and but yeah. So
correct me
anyway,
if
so
I'm
that's my
wrong.
second
That was
one.
directed by Rob Reiner, right?
Yes,
Yeah, it was one of the few movies he did. It wasn't a comedy.
right, yeah,
Yeah, and very
and
very
yeah,
powerful.
and I want to
Like you
say
said, courtroom
Kevin
drama.
Pollak was in it as well.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
He was.
Kevin Pollak was in it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. I remember you saying Kiefer Sutherland, but I missed Kevin Pollak. Yeah.
That was a little earlier. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kevin Pollak, he was in it. And again, Kevin Pollak is a hysterical comedian. Does great impressions. He does the funniest impression of Peter Falk as Columbo because he does the eye. Go
Right.
back and forth with it. Excuse me, pardon me. And he could do the thing with his eye. It used to crack Johnny Carson up all the time.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. That's wild.
Yeah.
But
he's also very good. As demonstrated, he's a good serious actor as well. That and Unusual Suspects, and
again, he's in
movies.
Unusual Suspects. He's it's a serious role. He's in this one. It's a serious role.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, he's quite the dramatic actor.
Yeah. I don't think he's given the due that he deserves, though.
Yeah, that's probably because of $1 Million Mystery.
Yeah,
that's an obscure reference.
That
movie actually has another name, and you can't find it as $1 Million Mystery today, but you can sometimes find it as the other name. I can't remember what the other name was.
Oh,
but oh my gosh, it was they were trying to make another. It's a mad world with the whole comic comedians in it. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to talk about, which I wish we could show on this show. Is Rich Hall does a bit. Rich Hall's in that movie. That's what reminded me. He does a bit about all Tom Cruise movies being exactly the same, which is hysterical. He's like, well, he's a cocktail waiter, pretty good cocktail waiter too, and he meets a girl and he loses his confidence, and then he gets his confidence back, and he's on top again at the end of the movie. Top Gun, he's a pilot, pretty damn good pilot too. He goes on and on. Every movie is the same.
There was, yeah.
Tropic Thunder, he's a race car driver, pretty good race car driver.
Yeah.
Meets a girl, loses confidence. Goes on and on. And as it goes further, it gets more hysterical.
Yeah. Well, I always thought
look that up on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's funny video. Rich Hall,
yeah.
Highway 6.
Days, I was gonna mention Days of Thunder. It's not on my list, but
no,
it's essentially a remake of Top Gun for that very reason. Yeah. No,
Renee, is that movie on your list?
Huh?
Is which movie?
Is Days of Thunder? Is that on your list?
No.
Not even an honorable mention.
It's got to be an incredibly bad movie when Robert Duvall can't make it work.
Exactly.
It's got Robert Duvall in it, and it's like the worst movies ever.
Duvall, yeah.
But it did give us Nicole Kidman.
It gave us Nicole Kidman, and it gave Tom Cruise Nicole Kidman because he later married her.
Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, yeah.
Yeah. We had a joke. It wasn't really a joke. It's kind of an observation about Tom Cruise and his women that he kept. As he got older, his wives keep getting younger, because he was originally married to Mimi Rogers. He was married to Mimi Rogers. Then he divorced her, married Nicole Kidman. They made a movie together, or a couple of movies together, and then divorced her. And then he hooked up with Katie Holmes, which led to his whole couch jumping incident on Oprah. And now he's divorced her, and so I don't know who he's.
Some 14-year-old somewhere. No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I went there.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you did. Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut. Exactly.
Eyes Wide Shut. Is Eyes Wide Shut on anybody's movie list?
No.
Oh,
if we ever do a Stanley Kubrick
too.
Might mention it, but I think that was his last movie.
It's not going to be on any of our lists on that one either. There's too many good Stanley Kubrick movies.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. What is your second?
Top Gun. Top Gun.
Oh yeah,
Again, it's
the
a
gayest
it's a
military
fun
movie ever made.
movie. It's a fun movie to watch. The cinematography of those dogfights is absolutely off the chain awesome. That alone is worth watching. That movie is watching those planes jet around. And you see those swirls coming off those wings and stuff. Oh my God, that movie is. It's a testosterone filled romp with leather jackets and motorcycles and Kenny Loggins. And somehow they threw Anthony Edwards in from Revenge of the Nerds, and it's still huge and manly. Anyway,
yeah, and
it's a great film. Girls like it because the volleyball scene, and it's a fun movie. All the way around. It's just a really fun movie. And again, everybody in it, even the small parts, are done by, like huge actors.
Yeah.
Michael Ironside's in it. Tom Skerritt's in it. Who's the pilot that leaves at the beginning of the movie? He was a big actor at that time in teen movies. Stockwell? John Stockwell? Dean Stockwell's son, I think.
Maybe, yeah. I just remember Val Kilmer. And
Val
Anthony
Kilmer,
Edwards.
Rick Rossovich.
Was Demi Moore in it? Was Demi Moore in it?
No.
But I remember Demi Moore.
I remember Demi Moore. I have this distinct.
No, it was Kelly McGinnis.
Yeah, Kelly McGinnis was the main woman in it.
Yeah.
And Meg Ryan made her debut.
I kept trying to remember her name. Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan, everybody's sweetheart. Made her debut in that as Goose.
Exactly. Yeah. She would go on to do more. To be famous in her own right.
Yeah.
Ryan, exactly.
A slew of movies after that where she was, she was with Tom Hanks a couple of times. She was with Hugh Jackman. She was, oh my God, she was everybody's
Billy
sweetheart.
Crystal.
Even Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
She made a romance work with Billy Crystal.
That's right. Yeah.
Pretty much want to nail you too. The scene where she does the orgasm in the diner, and then the woman says, "I'll have what she's having." That's Rob Reiner's mother.
Yeah, and I think she had lived.
Yeah, another Rob Reiner film.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we digress.
But we digress.
Tom Cruise. My third pick is Rain Man. Just a wonderful teaming of him and Dustin Hoffman. Hoffman is wonderful in it. I like it when Tom Cruise plays a dick. I like it when he's a jerk. I should say that. I like it when he's a jerk in movies. He does it well. And again, he redeems himself, but he's such a jerk in the beginning of that, in the first half of that movie. Well, actually, the first 75% of that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just work really well off each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a very good driver.
Yeah, very good actor. Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Didn't
go full retard.
Oh, I'm a very good driver too. Yeah. Kmart sucks. That line didn't age well. Like right after that movie came out, Kmart closed down.
Oh my goodness. 20 minutes to Wapner. Yeah. Great performance from
Gina Galina is also in it. She's again beautiful woman. She's in the Top Gun spoofs too. With Charlie Sheen. What's that? Hot Shots. Yeah, Hot Shots 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Hot Shots 1.
Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. Yeah. I'm surprised Cruise didn't marry her. She's probably already married. So. But yeah.
I was gonna say something really terrible, and I was a good boy. I held back. I didn't the first time, but I held back this time. Oh man, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, man?
You know what? I support your self-censorship.
I'm glad we're on board here. Okay, what was your number 3?
Okay, so I went with some deep cuts. I thought about Rain Man, and I thought about Top Gun, and I thought about all those movies, and they're all great movies. But I went for a deep cut here that probably people might have forgotten about. So my third movie is Vanilla Sky.
Okay, all right. I thought that's what you were going to say when you were when you were talking like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Vanilla Sky is a remake of a Spanish film called Abre los Ojos, which literally means open your eyes. And
Okay.
the star of that movie is also in this movie, Penelope Cruz. But it has Cameron Diaz in it.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, thank you. And it's a very weird movie. It's one of Cruz's weirder movies.
It is very weird. That's why I didn't make my list. I hate movies that go so weird just for the sake of being weird.
That's actually why I picked it, because it did go weird. Because it goes against type. Although he does play a jerk in it at the beginning. He's this sort of arrogant magazine publisher or whatever, editor. And then he meets Cameron Diaz, who rocks his world for a while until he hooks up with Penelope Cruz. And then Diaz goes nuts and tries to kill them both. And then things get really, really weird because he wakes up, he's disfigured, or so he thinks. And it just goes on this weird trip of, is he dreaming? Is he dead? Is he... what is going on?
See, the movie as you're describing it, I like those kind of movies when it's like Fight Club.
Yeah.
But this movie I think it was like trying too hard, so you're kind of aware of the fact that it's trying to be weird. I think that was my problem with it.
Oh, okay. I didn't feel that way. I was following along, and I got absorbed by the mystery of, oh, so what's going on here? And there was that one scene, and yes, Tom Cruise runs in every freaking movie he makes. And there's that scene where he's running through Times Square, and this was done. This was not a set. It was actually Times Square. The filmmakers blocked off this whole huge area of the city, and so it looked completely empty. And it's one of the pivotal scenes in the movie. But anyway, so that was my third pick. Yeah.
Okay. Kudos to you for not going with the generic Tom Cruise big blockbuster movies like I did. My number 4 is Interview with a Vampire. I love the fact that everybody hated the idea of Cruise playing Lestat, and he was good. He was very good as Lestat. I mean, the arrogance and he captured all of it. I've read all of those books by Anne Rice. I'm a huge Anne Rice fan, a huge Stephen King fan. I've read all of those books, and he embodied the Lestat of the books. He did.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And again, you got
Brad
Pitt, you got Banderas, you got Christian Slater.
Banderas. Yeah.
It's just
a very young Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah. Oh, she was phenomenal.
Little girl. Yeah. Stephen Ray. No, Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Just an excellent
Santiago.
cast.
Ooh, he was a meanie.
Yeah.
He was a meanie.
The Grand Guignol. Yeah, great movie. Yeah. Honestly, when I read the books, I pictured David Bowie as the Lestat.
That's interesting. That's interesting because Bowie did do The Hunger.
Yeah.
I'm so upset that they haven't done The Tale of the Body Thief as a movie, because I
I
think that
know.
would make a great movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Of
was
all the Lestat
disappointed.
stories, I think that will make a fantastic movie. And with
Yeah,
today's technology, you know, you could make it happen. You could do it.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm disappointed that they wound up combining the next two books. They combined, Vampire Lestat and Queen of the Damned into one movie,
Right, for Queen of the Damned, yeah.
and recast, everybody, and
Stuart
just
Copeland,
no, Stuart Townsend.
Stuart Townsend, yeah.
Yeah, and no, he just no,
He wasn't Lestat for me either. He
no.
just didn't do it for me. Some of the other
So
people looked interesting, but
yeah, I mean the
he,
late what's her name, Aliyah, the singer.
yeah,
She was good. I thought she was the best. To me, she was the best part of the movie. I
she
mean,
was
she
good. Yeah,
really embodied
agreed.
that
Agreed.
character, as I remember from the book. But Stuart Townsend, no, was just not good
But I
as
remember
Scott.
Demi Moore. But I remember Aaliyah.
But I remember Aliyah. But yeah. So anyway, um, and I think one of the reasons why Bowie came to mind was because in Lestat, he becomes a rock star, and I thought, well, how
Yeah.
perfect would that be? But anyway,
I
although
think
Cruise does
there
become
was
a rock
buzz
star
that
later
Sting
on.
at the time when the movie first got cast, that everybody was wanting Sting to be Lestat, and I don't think that would have been right. I don't think. I
No,
mean, he was interesting in Dune,
Dune, yeah,
which came out a little before, but yeah, I don't think he would have been a good Lestat.
no, no, no. Bowie would have got that. He had that otherworldliness, the whole
Nah,
all white dude thing, and the two different colored eyes and all that. I mean, yeah,
the man who fell to earth.
the man who fell to earth. Yeah. So, all right. So, Vampire Lestat.
That was
Very
number
good.
4 for me. Yeah.
That was four for
What's
you.
your number 4?
My number 4 is another deep cut, and it is Legend, Ridley Scott's epic fantasy.
I shudder. I'm sorry. I was thinking to myself, well, people are going to respect Manny for his deep cuts.
But not anymore, apparently.
Oh my gosh. I love Tim Curry. Okay. But under 3 tons of makeup that looks like 3 tons of makeup, no. I like the fact that Tom Cruise looked kind of greasy. Through the movie, he didn't want to look all pretty like most, Hollywood things. And Mia Sara, but
But I remember Mia Sara.
yeah, but I remember Mia Sara. But I remember working in a movie theater when that came out, and it just watching scenes from it just made me cringe. I just thought, no, this is not doing it for me at all.
Well, agree to disagree.
All right, yeah.
It's one of my favorite fantasy films,
And I love Ridley Scott. He's a great director.
And one of my favorite Ridley Scott movies. Yeah, I think. And yeah, Tim Curry as Darkness, he definitely carried this movie. And he had, I think he had, even though he was buried with the makeup, he had a tremendous amount of charisma, weirdly enough. And Mia Sara played the,
It's Tim Curry. I mean,
and yeah, you can, and that voice and everything. But
that makeup on Hellboy looked good. But as it was with that movie, for some reason it just looked too over the top to me. The whole thing just seemed a little over the top to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the point. It was to make it over the top. It was to make it just totally bonkers as an original.
Don't hit me in the face with a brick with it. Just give me a little subtleness. Come on. And for the same reason, I can't stand the never-ending story.
Oh,
never-ending movie. I'm a white dragon who laughs all the time like this. ah, ah, ah. Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, different strokes for different folks.
Yes,
I mean,
that's why we do this
not.
together, so we can
That's right. We're
we
not
can
always going to agree,
weigh it
and
up.
we're not. So, all
So
right. So
that's your number 4 deep cut.
that's what I am going to die on that hill. Yeah, that's my number 4. So, what is your number 5?
Number 5 for me was Mission Impossible, the original, the first one.
Okay.
Of all the Mission Impossible films, this one made my top 5 list. Yeah. What's funny was at the time that came out, they had to actually they put like up a website to explain what was going on in the movie because everybody was confused by the plot of the movie, evidently. The one thing I didn't like about it was, and again, this is cover yours. La, 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 if you don't want to hear the, the twist at the end, was that Phelps turned out to be, the baddie.
Yeah.
Mr. Phelps. And that's why Peter Graves, who was still alive, wouldn't do it. He's like, Phelps Phelps wouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So they got John Voight.
Yeah.
Sign the paycheck. John Voight to do it. I thought that the makeup, where they did the rip away masks and stuff, was unbelievable. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
Now they're just doing it with, CGI. But when that movie came out, they were doing it with real life masks. Tom Cruise was wearing a real life mask of John Voight at the end of that movie. And he pulls it off. And the fight on the train, impressive. And again, that was the first one where he started going, I'm doing all my own stunts. Then he was on the outside of a plane that took off. Then he's on the Dubai, on the big building at Dubai. And
we gotta go bigger.
I think it's Matt Damon that's telling this story about how he fired the first guy that was supposed to be the stunt guy coordinator on the film because the guy said, you can't do this. So he hired another stunt guy. Tom Cruise owns the movie.
Yeah.
So it's from beginning to end, it's engaging. It's an entertaining movie, and that's why we go to movies, to be entertained.
Right.
And
exactly.
it's entertaining, and the cameos are fun, and it's just. I mean, we got Emilio Estevez getting killed at the beginning of the film. That itself is worth.
Yeah. Getting his whole team wiped out.
Spikes in the face. Yes. We will not be doing an episode on Emilio Estevez. Okay, just say.
No,
maybe the whole Sheen family. Maybe.
But not Emilio.
But Emilio might get an honorable mention. That's it. Mighty Ducks. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent again. So Mission Impossible is my number 5. What's yours?
Cool. Yeah, I as a fan of the original show, I thought it was great. I really captured the spirit of that original series, and I definitely understand why Peter Graves would want to do that.
Phelps wouldn't do that
because Phelps, it would have been betrayed everything that Phelps stood for, and no, I mean just for a cheap twist at the end.
And that's what
it could have been anybody else.
Like, nobody will ever guess this.
Exactly. It's like, but it just felt, even watching the movie, even knowing that it was a different character or a different actor playing, it just felt wrong. I'm like, no,
it's a terrible thing to do.
So that's the only thing that really marred the movie. Everything else,
yes,
great. Love the rest of the cast, Jean Reno and what's his name? He went on to play Marcellus.
Marcellus Wallace. Actually, you did that before that.
Well,
Ving Rhames. Ving
Rhames. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh man.
Continued it on the in all the other. Well, I'm glad they brought back for all the other movies as well. And even later on Simon Pegg coming on.
Simon Pegg joined the team and stayed with him for the last 4 pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jeremy Renner and all those guys. So, excuse me. Okay, so my number 5 pick is Risky Business.
There you go.
We kind of went.
We come full circle.
Kind of went the opposite way. But yeah, I had to include Risky Business because it is the one who really put Cruise on everybody's radar. You know, especially that scene with him sliding in and his tidy whities to Old Time Rock and Roll, to
Yeah.
Bob Seger.
Seeger.
And that whole scene, you know, and of course I remember Rebecca Bourne.
Yes,
who
indeed.
was just and
Wow.
the subway scene.
The subway train. Yes. Wow.
Yeah. So anyway,
Wow, steamy.
hot stuff.
It
And
was.
I do love the one scene. What's that movie where the Porsche winds up in the in the river? They bring it out and they open the door and all the water comes out and the guy says, "All right, who's the submarine commander?"
Like when he's
Great
backing
line.
out of his garage and he stalls it. He's playing cool music and he stalls it and he has to start it up again.
Porsche, there is no other.
There is no substitute.
It's like, talk about product placement. I mean, how much, you know, and I think they wanted to have a scene like Ferris Bueller.
At that time, it was a cool car. Everybody talked about him at that time.
Yeah.
Ooh, you got a Porsche.
Right. So, very risky business. Yeah, great
Risky
movie.
business. All right, we move on to honorable mentions. Did we miss anything, Renee? Is there anything on your top list that you want to share with us?
Those are the main ones. When I
are the
think of
main
Tom
ones.
Cruise, that's who I think about, you know, except for Legends. I've never seen Legend. I've never seen it yet. I didn't even know it existed. I'm
I
gonna
may
give it
have
a
to go
chance.
back
There you
and
go.
watch it again.
I'm
Because
gonna
again,
give
I
it a chance.
refuse
I
to
love
watch
Tim
it from
Curry.
beginning
I
to
love
end.
Tim Curry.
Yeah, I refused to watch it from beginning to end when I was working at the movie theater.
Well, see, there's your thing.
So I
You
probably
gotta
have
watch
to go
it in
back and
full
give it a
watch the
second
whole
before
look.
you
thing.
can.
You have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I just thought it was.
I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to give it a second.
About Top Gun, I think, if I remember correctly, his brother, and I forget his first name, but it's another Scott, directed that one, right?
You're correct. Tony
Thank you.
Tony Scott.
Tony
He
Scott.
actually committed suicide.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
he did
That's
several
awful.
movies, but he never got as famous as Ridley.
Yeah.
And because he was doing like Top Gun stuff, you know, which is not Academy Award material, you know, but it's fun.
I think he also directed Days of Thunder, which I think that's why they look very similar and have a similar plot. So
so now we know why he committed suicide. Thank you, folks.
Oh,
jeez.
And you had censored yourself before this?
I did.
Inquiring minds are scared to learn.
We'll never know.
What was
We'll never
being censored. I never get offended. You can't offend me. It's okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't. I say
really
the most
don't.
outrageous
really
stuff
don't.
sometimes, and she won't get offended.
It's the Ukrainian thing. Like, we don't give a shit.
Exactly.
After like so many years of the USSR, like nothing bothers Ukraine.
Nothing offends us now.
Nothing offends.
Nothing offends you.
We just sit there and take a cool drag on it. Like, they have all this stuff from the war front of like people with like the bombs coming down and they're just eating chips or like taking a cool drag on something. You know, they don't give a shit. Nobody gives a shit.
So.
You're not going to offend me with a joke. Anyways, our own version of the aristocrats.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. And wait, JD said throwing out another request for a future show would be De Niro and Scorsese. We did Scorsese.
We did Scorsese.
We did Scorsese.
Yeah,
we did it.
Yeah, but we might do De Niro. Yeah. He's
De Niro. Yeah.
He's got an interesting oeuvre.
Watching you.
All right. So, what's your honorable mentions?
Okay, I've got as many on this list as I've got 5 of them. So,
okay. All right.
Minority Report, I thought was an interesting performance by him. Again, he plays a jerk, and he gets his just desserts throughout the movie. So it's fun. It's an interesting movie. The special effects and everything are interesting. Had an interesting cast.
Another Ridley Scott movie, by the way.
Collateral was on the list.
Cool.
Again, because he's playing against type. War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, yeah.
Just watching him brush people out of his hair at the beginning of that
I'm
movie,
gonna brush this man right out of my hair. Oh,
and the scene with Tim Robbins. Oh man, intense,
yeah.
intense. Definitely worth a mention. Um, I'm going to flip these two titles because I want to mention the second one last.
Okay.
Mission Impossible 3. I'll tell you why this one made the honorable mention, because Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance as Tom Cruise playing him, that in itself is worth the price of admission. Watching the movie, because he's doing a face mask thing and a chip won't work in his neck to get the voice right, and he's trying to wave off his assistant. But Philip Seymour Hoffman is the best villain yet for the Mission Impossible series, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He was so slimy and so disgusting in that movie. Oh man, he was good. Candy. And Tropic Thunder. I mean, Tom Cruise, if you want to talk about Tom Cruise really playing against type, oh my God. Tropic Thunder. And that dance at the end, man. Definitely worth a mention. Yeah, definitely worth a mention. Yeah. It's to you, sir.
All right. Well, my honorable mentions are ones that you mentioned earlier: Top Gun and Rain Man. You know, great movies. Almost made my list, but like I said, I decided to go deep cut with those. But nothing against those movies. Legend. Yes, that's gonna haunt your nightmares from now on. And now we're talking about the Vampire of Lestat. My other one is Rock of Ages, where he plays the rock and roll, the Stacey Jacks, and he's the rock and roll star, and he's doing his best Axl Rose, Mick Jagger. You know, I mean, pretty much every. I mean, he nailed it. He studied, and not a bad singer. I think he really nailed that whole era, that '80s hair metal, you know, era. And I mean, the movie, it's kind of cheesy and kind of.
Haven't seen it.
Haven't seen. Oh,
I haven't seen Rock of Ages.
You should just to say you have, but the best performance is Tom Cruise as the kind of just out of there, you know, rock star. And you mentioned Tropic Thunder, and that's the other one. Yeah, absolutely. That little cameo, kind of extended cameo, and the dance at the end.
Yes.
Just. Yeah. I remember seeing that movie and it's like, is that Tom Cruise? Is that because the voice, you know, it's like, this sounds like Tom Cruise, but you know, he had all the makeup and the big hairy arms, and then at the end, a monkey. We can replace you with a monkey. Great. Just a great
Again, it had so much fun stuff going on in it, and that was just one other gift that they threw to us as the audience with that. I mean, Stiller in himself is just very funny, and then you've got Jack Black's character, and then you've got Robert Downey Jr. playing a character who's playing a character, you know, within a character.
I'm the dude playing a dude, pretending to be another dude, disguised as another dude. Yeah, 400 years of oppression.
That one actually helped bring him back because he was in a lot of trouble with, you know, substance abuse and stuff right before that, and it was before
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, or
it was before Iron Man, I think. Right?
Oh,
Wasn't it?
I see. I don't remember now. Yeah,
like maybe a year or two before, I think.
Yeah.
But obviously influential in Jon Favreau picking him for Iron Man.
Yeah,
I think.
And the rest is history for all the Marvel fans. Yeah.
And if you play Iron Man, we'll let you do a Sherlock Holmes movie every 2 years.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie.
Even though you're not British.
Well, I want to say.
But he did do Chaplin.
He did do Chaplin. Yeah, we should do Maybe later on we'll do
I was
a
thinking
Robert
about
Downey.
the same thing at the exact same time. We should do a Robert Downey Jr. episode.
Yeah, well, I have a list.
RDJ episode.
I have a list, so I'll add. So I wanted to have a list of shows prepared. So, and I've updated it, and I'll throw Robert in there, Robert Downey Jr. I'll send it to you guys a little bit later. But anyway, yeah. So Tom Cruise.
Yep.
But I remember Demi Moore.
He creates entertainment. He
does.
entertains. He does. Mummy will look past that. But anyway, he creates entertainment. So there it is. You know, whether he's playing Jack Reacher or
Jack Reacher, forgot about that one.
Yeah, we there's a couple of those too. They make our list.
There's a lot. Yeah, Magnolia. We just mentioned that one. Edge of
Steel
Tomorrow.
Magnolia is the one where he had the heart on, right?
Yeah.
Temple of the Penis, something like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was Paul. The guy that did Boogie Nights.
Paul Anderson. Yeah.
Paul Thomas.
Paul Thomas. That's right. Yeah, I was thinking. Paul Thomas. Yeah. Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow, Oblivion. A lot of good sci-fi as well. So you mentioned Minority Report. So lots of good ones out there.
So he entertains.
You're a Tom Cruise fan.
That's why he's still at the top of the box office.
That's right.
You know, even after what, 80 years? It's like 40
Feels
years.
that
now.
way.
40 years.
40 years. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. You know. So there it is.
Still out there. Yeah. Making more Mission Impossible movies. So next week, Scarlett Johansson.
We're doing Scarlett Johansson next week. All right.
That's right.
She's one of the few Avengers who's actually branched out and done a lot of other movies.
Yeah, well,
we can't do a Jeremy Renner. It's like a couple of movies and then it's all Avengers. It's all Hawkeye.
Yeah. Well, no, he's done more than that, but
he played Dahmer.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Miss Johansson, she has a interesting had an interesting career as well. Different diverse movies besides playing Black Widow in the Avengers. So yeah. So that was just next on my list.
And Jonathan Duncan is requesting Robert Altman at some point. This is another one of his dreams.
Director Robert Altman.
I meant to put them on the list. Yeah,
very good recommendation.
Yeah. All right. So.
Well, okay, folks.
All right. Well,
thanks for joining us for the Tom Cruise episode.
Yeah. Ms. Renee, you want to play us out?
I was expecting good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Make sure you follow us on all of our socials at Cosmos Creative TV.
What's coming up next?
Right after this, I'm gonna grab a quick dinner, and then we have Coylin Green. Coylin Green, the voice of the Valley. She's amazing. She's gonna be on Burn It Down with Tom Cheshire, who's in Puerto Rico. I'm going to learn how to say that.
Man.
And
Monday night, Tom Cheshire.
Monday night, we're going to burn it down. So everyone
burn it down, baby.
Go eat, go to the bathroom, get some tea or coffee or wine, and join us right back here at 9 Eastern for that. Looking forward to it.
All right. So Tom Cheshire coming up. So,
all right. Good night, everybody.
Adios, muchachos. Thanks for watching this episode of Two Guys and Sometimes a Gal Talking About Movies. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to get future episodes.